Margaret Harrison sat in her corner office on the 42nd floor, watching snow drift past a window. She was 57 years old, and somewhere along the way she had forgotten what Christmas felt like. Her phone buzzed with another work email, and she sighed deeply. 20 years of running this marketing firm, and what did she have to show for it? A silent apartment and takeout containers in the fridge. She opened her notes app, where she kept a private list titled Simply Wishes. It was something her mother had taught her long ago when life felt heavy. Write down what your heart truly wants, she would say. Margaret's fingers moved across the screen. I wish someone would look at me the way my father looked at my mother. I wish I had said yes to dancing instead of always saying yes to deadlines. I wish I knew what it felt like to matter to someone beyond quarterly reports. She paused and added one more line. I wish I wasn't spending Christmas alone again. Her assistant knocked, bringing her back to reality. Miss Harrison, the reports from the design team. Margaret nodded absently, and her phone slipped from her hand onto the desk. She didn't notice it had opened her messaging app, didn't see that her wishes had been sent to the last person she texted. David Chun from accounting. David Chin was 49 years old and raising his daughter Emma alone. His wife had passed 3 years ago, and every day since had been about putting one foot in front of the other. He worked in accounting on the 34th floor. A quiet man with kind eyes who always said good morning even when others rushed past. His phone chimed during Emma's piano practice. He glanced at the screen, expecting a work question. Instead, he saw Margaret Harrison's name and a message that made his breath catch. He read it once, then again more slowly. These weren't meant for him. This was someone's private heart laid bare. David had seen Margaret around the office. Always elegant, always composed, always alone. He'd wondered about her story, the way you wonder about people who seem to carry the world with grace. Now, he held her vulnerability in his hands. Emma looked up from the piano. Dad, you okay? He smiled at his 14-year-old daughter. Yes, sweetheart, keep playing. That night after Emma went to bed, David sat with his phone. He could pretend he never saw it. Delete the message and let Margaret keep her dignity. But something stopped him. Maybe it was 3 years of loneliness. Maybe it was recognizing his own ache in someone else's words. He typed carefully. Miss Harrison, I think you sent this to me by accident, but I want you to know your wishes aren't foolish. Then he added something that surprised even himself. If you're willing, would you tell me your real wish? The one underneath all of these. Margaret saw his message at midnight when sleep wouldn't come. Her face flushed hot with embarrassment. Oh, God, what had she done? Her private thoughts sent to someone who worked for her. She should ignore it, pretend it never happened. But David's words held no judgment, only a gentleness that made something in her chest crack open. She found herself typing back. My real wish is to remember who I was before I became this, before success meant sacrifice, before I traded living for achieving. I wish I could go back and tell my younger self that staying late at the office wasn't worth missing my best friend's wedding, that the promotion wasn't worth losing touch with my sister, that being respected wasn't the same as being loved. I wish I knew how to be a person again instead of just a position. She hesitated, then pressed send before courage failed her. David read her words in the blue glow of his phone. He understood more than she knew. After Sarah died, he'd thrown himself into work too. It was easier than feeling, safer than remembering what he'd lost. He wrote back, 3 years ago I lost my wife. I spent those years being a father and an employee. But I forgot how to be David, the man who used to dance in the kitchen, who laughed too loud at bad jokes, who believed in magic. Maybe we both need to remember. Margaret stared at his message. This man she barely knew was offering her something no one had in years. understanding without solution, company without expectation. She typed quickly before logic could interfere. Would you have coffee with me? Not as your boss, just as Margaret. His reply came immediately. Yes, I like that. They met the next morning at a small cafe 3 blocks from the office. Margaret arrived first wearing jeans and a sweater. No power suit, no armor. She felt naked and alive. David walked in with snow in his hair and a nervous smile. They talked for 2 hours about loss and loneliness, about Emma's piano recitals and Margaret's estranged sister, about the weight of being strong all the time, about wishes whispered and wishes buried. When they finally stood to leave, David touched her arm gently. Thank you for trusting me with your real wish. Margaret felt tears prick her eyes. Thank you for asking for it. Over the next 2 weeks, they met for coffee 3 more times. Margaret learned that David volunteered at a soup kitchen every Sunday, that he was teaching himself guitar to bond with Emma, that he still wore his wedding ring, but was learning that loving Sarah's memory didn't mean stopping his life. David learned that Margaret sent anonymous donations to music programs.
Can you believe it's already here?
That she wanted to be a teacher before business found her, that behind her executive presence was someone who just wanted to matter in ways that couldn't be measured. On Christmas Eve, David called her. Emma wants to know if you'd come to dinner tomorrow. Nothing fancy, just us and too much food. Margaret felt her throat tighten. I couldn't intrude on your family time. His voice was soft but certain. Margaret, you wouldn't be intruding. You'd be joining. There's a difference. She said yes. Christmas morning, she stood outside David's modest house, holding a pie she'd nervously baked at dawn. Emma answered the door with a bright smile. You're the Margaret my dad talks about. Come in, come in. The house was warm and lived in. Pictures on every surface. Emma's artwork on the fridge. A slightly crooked tree in the corner. Everything Margaret's sterile apartment wasn't. David emerged from the kitchen with flour on his shirt. Margaret, welcome. She handed him the pie. I hope it's okay. I haven't baked in 20 years. He smiled that gentle smile. It's perfect. Dinner was chaotic in the best way. Emma told elaborate stories about school. David burned the rolls and they laughed. Margaret felt something she'd forgotten existed. The simple joy of being part of something. After Emma went to her room, David and Margaret sat by the tree. Thank you for this, Margaret said quietly. For what? For asking me my real wish. For seeing past what everyone else sees. For reminding me I'm more than my job title. David turned to face her. Can I tell you something? Margaret nodded. When Sarah died, I thought I'd never feel alive again. Just functional. Going through motions. But talking with you these past weeks, it's like remembering there's color in the world. Not replacing what was, just allowing what could be. Margaret reached for his hand. I spent so many years building walls, being untouchable, unreachable, but sitting here with you and Emma, I feel like maybe I can be touchable again. Maybe I can matter in the small ways, the real ways. David squeezed her hand gently. You already do. They sat in comfortable silence while snow fell outside. 2 people in their middle years, both having lost things, both having forgotten things, both now remembering that life doesn't end when youth does, that wishes whispered in darkness can find light, that sometimes the best gifts come wrapped in unexpected moments. Margaret looked at David in the soft glow of Christmas lights. Tell me your real wish, she whispered. David smiled. I wish for more mornings like this, more conversations that matter, more reminders that it's never too late to start again. And maybe, if I'm being honest, I wish to see where this goes. With you, Margaret felt tears slide down her cheeks. Happy ones this time. That's my wish too. If you enjoyed the story of second chances and rediscovered hope, please share, and subscribe for more heartwarming tales. Leave a comment telling us about a time someone saw the real you beneath the surface. Your stories inspire ours.